Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bricks and Bleachers podcast. All things Chicago Cubs in under 10 minutes. Cubs are cruising since the All-Star break. We'll look at the big turnaround. And with 5 weeks remaining in the regular season, we will look at what may stand between the Cubs and the postseason. Latest news on the Cubs starting rotation and plenty more just ahead. Cubs are coming off a 10-6 win last night in Pittsburgh. Cubs with multiple big innings, scoring 5 in the 5th, 3 in the 3rd, and 2 more in the 9th. Everyone contributing to the offense. All 9 starters got on base at some point. And Jordan Wicks, in his major league debut, struck out 9. More on him shortly. Cubs enter play on Sunday at 68 and 61, 4 games back of Milwaukee in the National League Central. You may think, if the Cubs are doing so well, how are they not in first place in a bad division? What gives? Well, Milwaukee has also been playing their best baseball of the season. 7-game win streak for the Brewers right now. Cubs and Brewers play a 3-game series this week at Wrigley, so there will be action in the division standings. I mean, the Cubs are red hot after the All-Star break. Best record in the National League at 25-14, thanks in large part to a surge of offense. Team that really lacked power the first half of the year is now 3rd in home runs since the All-Star break. Cody Bellinger was the National League Player of the Month in July with a ridiculous amount of offense. Dansby Swanson rebounded from a brief injury with big contributions, and Mike Tauchman continues to deliver in surprising ways. And when the offense is putting up 6 runs per game, as it has since the break, you're going to win a lot of games. They are doing just that. By my count, consistently winning, including 8 of the last 12 series, 8-2-2 to be exact, in position to win or at least split this weekend's series in Pittsburgh. Offense is good. Defense is good. Pitching, I think, is the glaring weakness. Cubs starting rotation, kind of a mess at the moment. Marcus Stroman remains out with injury. He went to the injured list at the beginning of August with a hip issue, was almost back when he had another issue, a fracture in some rib cartilage. Unsure how long this will keep him sidelined, but I'm guessing mid to late September to return at the earliest. Hope to be wrong on that. So that's one spot in the rotation needing addressed. The midseason collapse of Drew Smyly presents another opening in the rotation. Smyly was moved to the bullpen for a short time in early August, returned as a starter against Detroit, and the Tigers beat him up. He was unable to get through the 4th inning, and he also gave up 7 runs in that short stint. He just looked off from the very beginning. And it was yet another time of David Ross leaning on someone struggling for far too long. Javier Assad has looked nice as a starter here in August. He's made 4 starts so far. Cubs have won all of them. Last night brought the debut of a prospect the Cubs have been very excited about, Jordan Wicks. First-round pick in the 2021 draft. He split time this year at 2 levels of the minors, 4-0 in Double-A, and then 3-0 in 7 starts with Triple-A Iowa, and last night he was terrific. After giving up a home run early, he settled in to strike out 9 over 5 innings. Honestly, if he simply turns in 5 decent innings each outing the rest of the year, I'll count that as a big win. That will be a huge upgrade from what we've seen from Drew Smyly since the beginning of June. Past couple of weeks of the Cubs' schedule have been against favorable opponents, those with sub-500 records, and it does ramp up for them the rest of the way. 33 games to go. Cubs have 20 games against teams they are directly competing against for a playoff spot. Talking about Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Arizona, and San Francisco. Also have a 3-game series still with the Braves, who I would pick as my World Series favorite. That leaves 10 games on the schedule still against the Pirates and the Rockies. So a 3-game set with division-leading Milwaukee begins on Monday at Wrigley Field. Thursday is an off day. Cubs then have a 4-game set next weekend in Cincinnati, including a doubleheader on Friday. That kicks off a stretch of 14 games at the first 13 days of September. Teams are allowed 2 extra players on the active roster in September. I'm curious if we'll see perhaps Caleb Killian return to Chicago, or maybe Ben Brown gets a chance to start a game or 2. And there's a lot of talk about Pete Crow Armstrong, who's lit it up at every level of the minors. Cubs have a lot of outfield options already, but PCA is one to be excited for. Time for our This and That segment, news and notes from around Major League Baseball. Seattle has been on quite a tear recently. They evenly split their first 100 games. That was July 24. They've since won 23 of 29, moving into first place in the American League West a couple days ago. It's the first time in 20 years that the Mariners have led the division this late in a season. Shohei Ohtani is injured, but still playing. He left his start a couple days ago with elbow pain. They're saying it's something related to his UCL. Speculation is he may need Tommy John surgery in the offseason, but for now, he's playing. He's able to hit and doing so as a designated hitter. Alex Verdugo homered in the bottom of the first inning for the Red Sox yesterday. It's the third straight game where he's led off with a home run. He's only the third player since 1900 to lead off with a home run in 3 or more consecutive games. Brady Anderson did it for the O's in 96 and Ronald Acuna Jr. for the Braves in 2018. Now back to the Cubs. They wrap up a 4-game set in Pittsburgh this afternoon. Cubs lead the series 2-1. Pulled out a thriller Thursday night, 5-4 victory in 10 innings. Justin Steele was not at his best, but still good enough to go 6 innings. Mitch Keller outdueled Kyle Hendricks Friday night as the Pirates took that one 2-0. Cubs could only manage 5 hits in that game. And then the 10-6 win last night. This afternoon, Javier Assad gets the start for the Cubs. He's pitched into the 6th inning each of his last 3 starts and would love to see that again today to help prevent overworking of the bullpen before the big series with Milwaukee. Pirates this afternoon will send Bailey Falter to the mound, acquired mid-year from Philadelphia. Falter has started 3 games so far with Pittsburgh, coming off a 6-inning outing where he gave up just 3 hits over 6 innings and recorded a win against St. Louis. Other Cubs to keep an eye on, Ian Happ. Well, he's been in a rather lengthy slump, batting below 200 in the month of June and just over 200 since July 1. But David Ross is sticking with him. Not as much patience shown for Seiya Suzuki, whose struggles have spanned about the same amount of time, but not to the same extent. Suzuki also batting sub-200 in June. He got it up to 240 in July, then was benched for a while in early August, and he has come back really strong since then, batting 350 here in the month of August with 5 home runs and a sharp decline in strikeouts. So that benching was very good for Seiya Suzuki, and hopefully that production can continue. Center field has been solid with Cody Bellinger and Mike Tauchman splitting time out there. The corner outfield positions have been a cause for concern with those struggles from Happ and Suzuki, although Suzuki seems to be coming around. As mentioned before, Pete Crow Armstrong has been really good in the minors. Perhaps the struggles of Happ and Suzuki will open the door to some September action for PCA. Christopher Burrell also with some recent struggles. He's batting below 150 here in the month of August. Found himself benched much of the past week. Contact and power both down, strikeouts way up. And Patrick Wisdom has also regressed significantly. Strikeout rate creeping up to almost 50%. Between this and the addition of Jeimer Candelario, Wisdom may be the next odd man out, much like Mancini and Hosper and Tucker Barnhart, who was DFA'd a few days ago. Cubs offense has been red hot since the All-Star break, despite the struggles of guys you expect to produce, like Happ and Suzuki. But that's one of those things with baseball. It's tough to truly get all 9 spots in the lineup hot at once. Thankfully, you don't have to have everyone clicking to still have a red-hot offense. So that's it for now. We hope to see the Cubs make up ground this week in the division and continue to keep control of one of the 3 wild card spots. Bricks Bleachers on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. Post your Cubs thoughts with us anytime. And subscribe so you never miss an episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get yours. All things Chicago Cubs in under 10 minutes. This is the Bricks and Bleachers Podcast.